Hey guys, Shannon Gonta here with Therapy by Shannon, and today I'm going to be talking about specific self-care items for men. Of course, the self-care items can be used by anyone, but some of them, specifically a couple, are more focused on the male population. So I'm just going to kind of list them out for you. Some of them are kind of broken down into little categories, but if you do go to my website at therapybyshannon.com, it is all transcribed for you in a blog format, and certain ones have links out for helpful tips and tricks for you to more easily apply these to your life. So one of the biggest things of self-care is, of course, finding time for it in our busy schedules in between work and social life, and just taking care of other parts of our day-to-day. So one of the biggest things with self-care is that you need to make time for yourself. And so this can be done in big or small ways. So like one easy way to make time for yourself and kind of have that self-care integrated into your life is to brush your teeth. You know, try to make it something that you're doing at least twice a day. Taking a shower on a regular basis, going to get a massage, going to get a pedicure or a manicure. And no, this is not just for the females out there. We all have hands, we all have feet, and they all have nails on them, and they don't really like being neglected. So, try to take care of them or treat yourself to someone else taking care of them for you. Another thing you can do to take care of yourself and make time for yourself is to meditate. You can do this on your own. You can use an app to help you do this. You can take an in-person class. Louisville actually has a lot of really great in-person classes that you can take, or you can just hop on YouTube and type in guided meditations, and thousands of them will pop up for you to be able to try out. You can also journal about your day. I have a lot of weekly journal prompts posted on my Instagram and my Facebook that you can check out, and these might be able to inspire or spark some things for you to be able to journal about. And then honestly, like reading anything, like nowadays, like no one really takes the time to read anything, so taking that intentional time to read a book or read an article or really read anything is really going to be beneficial too for that self-care and slowing down your brain. Other kind of self-care category is that you can engage with others. So maybe for you that can look like volunteering your time, maybe with your job or with other professional groups that you're involved with, or your community, maybe a church or your friends or your family. It doesn't really have to be a long-term commitment unless you want it to be. Of course, that's great. But it could be like as simple as volunteering to bake something for the cookie sale or to assist with like carpool duties. Another thing is like, just kind of like making time for yourself and for others, like in your day-to-day. Like don't book your calendar, week to week, just full of work and, whether that's at your job and then also like housework stuff or self-improvement stuff. Like really make time for yourself to hang out with your friends or to connect with people. You can also try to avoid toxic people. So that may look like physically, setting boundaries with someone who is maybe a little bit unhelpful or unhealthy for your life, but maybe that looks like unfollowing some people on social media that aren't very helpful for you or for your life. You could also like goof off in a sense, like when you can. You could do this alone, you could do this with your kids, you could do this with your friends or family, just kind of like letting your hair down in a sense, and letting some of that kid brain come back to your adult life to help you kind of like step out of your adult shoes for a while. And then of course, just like in general, socializing on a regular basis. This may look like a formal night out with your friends or with your partner, but it can also just be like intentionally striking up a conversation with someone who's checking you out at the grocery store, and just really trying to build that human on human connection any way you can and whatever way you can fit it into your busy day. You also want to embrace your health. So, like ask yourself, like, what are you doing throughout the day with your body, and making sure that you're trying to get some exercise in on a regular basis. This could be for like 10 minutes, or this could be for an hour or more. Just commit to sweating and understanding that sweating doesn't have to be like at the gym. It could be on a walk, it could be while you're mowing your lawn, it could be while you're washing your car, while you're playing with your kids. I don't know, whether you're decluttering the attic or the basement. There's lots of ways to sweat throughout the day, but maybe just making that commitment to sweat may be able to give you that motivation to care for yourself in that way. You also want to be aware of like what you're putting into your body. So I'm not asking you to, of course, like completely change your eating habits or your drinking habits, but just to kind of bring that awareness to what you put in your body on a regular basis. Like, are you eating fast food a lot? Do you have a tendency to pick up greasiest items like kind of on the menus when you're going out to eat? Are you getting enough nutrition from your foods throughout the day? Are you drinking a lot of alcohol, or do you do drugs? If so, like how often? You really need to educate yourself on the impacts of that, like these habits overall have on your body and on your goals. Because, if you have certain goals and you're just not doing things that are going to get you to that goals, there could be some shifts that you could make, some smaller, large shifts that could help you take care of yourself a little bit more and reach your goals a little bit easier. And kind of on top of that, like just drink water. Like drinking water throughout the day is a huge self-care strategy that a lot of us overlook. But being able to get the appropriate water in us for our body size can really help. And I think the Mayo Clinic suggests that men drink like 15.5 cups a day on average. And there's lots of things on the internet. You can type in your body weight and all sorts of things to get the exact amount of water that you should be drinking for you. But in the end, just like try to drink as much water as you can throughout the day. Of course, you want to be getting regular sleep. On average, adults should be sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night. That can be tough to get if you're super busy with kids or with work or with your social life. So trying to really make sure that we're scheduling that in and prioritizing that we get that 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. And then you also really want to kind of accept that bodily and mental and emotional changes occur as you grow older. And so some of those self-care strategies could be connected to that and not pushing ourselves outside of our limits when maybe we have some bodily restrictions with just the age that's naturally occurring because we're humans. Another thing is kind of like trying to find passion or connection through the things that you do. So you really want to make sure that you're going home to your family. So, that may look in the traditional sense as to a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a partner and your kids, or maybe that's your pets, or maybe that's your plants, or maybe that's your couch, whatever you qualify as your family. You need to set those appropriate boundaries with work and making sure you're having the appropriate self-care so you can kind of like find that work-life flow and you can do the appropriate self-care items throughout your day when you do get home, so you're not at the office all day or working all day. Also, like learning how to say no and setting boundaries and actually sticking to them, with yourself or with your family, friends, or work can be a really beneficial self-care item as well. You can also like pick up a new hobby or even start up doing something that you used to do. Sometimes it can be helpful to think of things that we used to do as a kid or an adolescent and try to integrate those into our adult life. You also want to be aware and know your burnout signs. And so you want to know the stressors in your life and what to do when they pop up. So kind of like some common stressors that could go on in your life are like working long hours, societal discrimination, financial hardship, pleasing your partner, maintaining your household. Like there's lots of things throughout a day that can be really stressful. So you want to kind of know these burnout signs. So when they do pop up, you can kind of compensate in a sense by doing more self-care items so you don't burn out. You can also like write priority-based to-do lists to avoid getting overwhelmed by like the demands of your daily grind. To help just overall help you prioritize and get things done. So again, you're not having so many things roll over to the next day or the next week and adding on to that overwhelmed feeling. You can also have a positive outlook on the situation at hand. That can be helpful and can be a nice little way that we shift our mindset from our typical track and can be a really good self-care item to do. You can kind of similar to that, you can like challenge your negative thinking patterns. This may be like some negative self-talk that you may have around your abilities or your strengths or your lack thereof. And so you can kind of like fact check that or challenge that in an appropriate way that can lead to some different thinking patterns and fire up some different neural pathways in your brain. And then another really big self-care item that's really tough to do in our society and as a human is to ask for help. And so maybe that's in a really small way, or maybe it's in a larger way. But I do ask that we try to practice this one as well and just reach out to someone for something and just kind of notice the process of it and see how it makes us feel. But yeah, that's kind of all I have for you today, and there's lots of suggestions there, and there's obviously endless opportunities for you to integrate self-care into your day, and it doesn't have to be something as large as splurging and buying something or going to a spa or these kind of common things that we think self-care is. We can integrate them like very easily into our day. It just takes a little bit of planning and a little bit of intentionality to be able to do that, but once we do it, we can see the benefits of kind of lowering those overall symptoms and those stressors and different things that pop up through our stressful days. But if you want to learn more about self-care, I have lots more information on my website at therapybyshannon.com, as well as on my Instagram and Facebook at therapybyshannon. But hope you have a good rest of your day.